Welcome to our chat. Today we're diving into how to cultivate meaningful relationships. It's such an important topic, right?
Absolutely. There's so much depth in exploring what makes friendships real. Yep, real and soul nourishing.
Exactly. I mean, think about those childhood bonds, like when you're so close that you're practically fused into one, and then later somehow you drift apart over silly things.
I can totally relate. Right. Like that moment in school where someone you thought was your best friend shifts their focus to the cool club. It's a heartbreaker.
Yeah, it really brings home how superficial connections can sometimes feel, even painful when they're based on competition or insecurity.
Definitely. And then there's the flip side. When you meet someone new who just clicks with you, like a new chapter that redefines everything.
Exactly. For instance, that story of meeting Alicia in sixth grade after losing a childhood best friend, it shows that sometimes our lives have a way of balancing out.
Right. Yep. And as we move into adulthood, maintaining those meaningful ties becomes much more challenging. With jobs, marriages, kids, and life's other responsibilities, friendships often take a back seat.
Precisely. And that's where the practical tips kick in. One of the best pieces of advice is to look for commonalities when seeking new friends. Not just surface traits like age or style, but the deeper interests we share.
Yeah, like bonding over hobbies, right? Like finding someone who loves yoga, painting, or maybe even gardening, a passion that connects you on another level.
Exactly. It's like, um, when you see someone doing something you admire, you strike up a conversation, ask questions about how they got into it, and then before you know it, you've built a
That's a great way to
connection.
start. And speaking of connecting, it's interesting that we need to embrace our differences too. Not everyone will have every trait in common with us.
Absolutely. And that contrast is actually what enriches our friendships. I mean, think about it. One friend might be older or in a different life stage, offering wisdom we've yet to experience.
Right? Like learning from older grandma moms. True. And that diversity can bring so much perspective, something social media just can't replicate.
Exactly. Another tip is to actually move beyond social media networks. It's great for staying in touch superficially, but nothing beats a face-to-face chat over coffee or lunch, right?
Yeah, I agree. An invitation for coffee or lunch can transform a digital acquaintance into a genuine connection.
And speaking of invitations, there's a real power in showing hospitality. A casual, low-pressure get-together can really open the door to building closer
Absolutely.
bonds.
Imagine a simple backyard playdate or a craft date. It provides an opportunity for conversation and shared experiences without the stress of planning something extravagant.
Precisely. It reminds me of hosting a little dinner party where the focus isn't on perfection, but rather on simply enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, that's a refreshing take. And then there's staying in touch. It's so much more meaningful to call or text and even send a handwritten note than to just like a post online.
For sure. It's that old-fashioned way, where you really connect. It's like, I'm thinking about you and not just scrolling past
Exactly.
another status update.
It seems pivotal that in our busy lives, we make an effort to pencil in time for friendships, treating them as important meetings on our calendar.
Absolutely, and sometimes that means saying no to other less essential things. But here's my question. Do you think scheduling social time feels forced in
Well, it
some
might feel a bit
cases?
mechanical at first. I mean, sometimes friendships evolve naturally. Yet, when life gets so hectic, planning a regular coffee date can preserve the bond.
That's true, but I also think that, if you're always scheduling and it becomes just another appointment, you risk losing that spontaneity. It's a delicate balance.
Right, it's like maintaining a natural vibe amidst the structure. Exactly. And another tip, the art of listening. It's one thing to hear someone, but truly listening means being present, asking questions, and not just waiting for your turn to speak.
Yes, really absorb what they're saying. It's like giving a part of yourself to really understand them, an art that we need to practice constantly.
It's a skill not everyone masters. And on that note, showing gratitude shouldn't be overlooked. Even a little thank you note or acknowledgement can enrich a relationship so much.
Absolutely. It's amazing how such small acts, like saying thank you or noting someone's kindness, can shift our whole perspective toward our friends.
Yeah, that's the little magic in relationships. And then we come to being honest. It's essential to express your feelings, whether that's a need for space or excitement about something new.
Right. Honesty keeps the relationship clear so you don't build up silent resentments. It's like laying all your cards on the table.
Right, true transparency is key. I know some people might worry about hurting feelings, but honest communication ultimately builds trust.
Definitely. And then there's also the power of asking for help. Friendships are reciprocal, and sometimes leaning on a friend when you're in need can deepen that bond.
It's a two-way street. Absolutely. Reaching out for support isn't a sign of weakness, but of connection. Recognizing that, hey, we're all in this together.
Exactly. And all of these tips come down to the realization that while cultivating meaningful relationships takes effort and sometimes stepping out of our comfort zones, the benefits are just
Well
immeasurable.
said. Right. But I wonder, isn't it sometimes easier to just stay on our phones and let social media do the work?
Uh, well, that's definitely a temptation these days. But as we discussed, digital connections are often just that, digital. They rarely capture the depth of a conversation held over a cup of coffee or by a
Exactly.
phone call.
I completely agree. And the value of a face to face interaction, where you can read body language and share genuine emotions, is just unparalleled.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, even a simple act like inviting a Facebook friend for lunch can make a huge difference. It shows that you're willing to invest time in nurturing that connection.
Right on. So, whether it's starting a meetup group, hosting a book club, or just making that call, cultivating meaningful relationships really is something that enriches our lives beyond measure.
Absolutely. Our friendships offer us support, joy, and that deep, soul restoring connection we all need, even when life gets busy.
Perfectly put. It's a reminder that, despite our busy schedules, making time for those vital connections pays off in more ways than one.
And that's the heart of it. All these little efforts add up to a much stronger, richer social life. Thanks for this great conversation.
My pleasure. Here's to nurturing those precious relationships. Cheers to that.